So, in Star Trek's The Cloud Minders, we have a story about, two separate classes. And one's got it great and the other one not so much. Haves and have-nots. Yeah, that's the deal. I kept thinking the title, for whatever reason, was Cloud Miners, but that wouldn't really make any sense, even though it does involve miners, but they're down on the surface in the ground, where mines are. The people living in the clouds are just living in a city. They don't mine anything. They just sit around and, make art all day and, pat themselves on the back for existing. So anyway, yeah, that's the point of it, is they got these, very different two social classes and physically separated. You got the elite ruling class that lives in a city in the clouds. And they literally just look down on the ones who are doing all the work that provides the resources and energy for that, for such an achievement as having an entire city that floats in the air. So the city is called Stratus. It does not happen on the planet Bestman. Which, you never knew about the dark side of Lando. It wasn't just that he had been a smuggler and all that, and been involved in some petty crimes here and there, like Han Solo. No. He had a whole underclass that were stuck in these horrible, dangerous mines and all that stuff. But no, so that's the situation here. And Kirk and crew show up because they need Xenite, because there's another plague, and Xenite is the cure. So man, plagues just happen all the time out there in the Federation. So they go to this planet, and it's a member of the Federation, which I thought was interesting overall, in that you're still, there's rules about you're not supposed to interfere with their local governance over the planet. And so the people in the city of Stratus, they're the rulers, and that's that. But it quickly becomes apparent that there's these abuses of the people who are living in the mines. Now, the people in the mines are referred to as troglodytes. Jeez. That's what they call them. They've had it. So there's a group formed out of them called the Disruptors, who are rebelling against the elites. And their leader, Vanna, actually was brought into Stratus. And there you go. She got a little bit of education, so she's a little smarter than the rest of them. And we learned the reason that the troglodytes just, they're not the sharpest knives in the drawer, is because of the gas that's released from mining Xenite. It's this odorless, colorless gas, but it's affecting their brain development and whatnot. So ultimately, that's the plot. Kirk discovers it and says, "Hey, you need to wear these filter masks, and you won't suffer the brain damage and all of that." The problem with that is that even the leader makes the point, is that, we're all descended from people who used to work in those mines and stuff, and he's saying, how come we're not affected by it? And Dr. McCoy explains, if you stay out of it long enough, you'll your brain function will return. But after centuries, I think the brain development would have been stunted permanently, maybe there would be some improvement, but not to the point of what they show here. And so he's explaining that there's an environmental reason for why there's a separation of intellect between the two classes, and neither one wants to hear it really. But when he proves it, they accept it. But that's one of the things, is like, they'll be fine once they're out of it. I mean, even Vanna, even though they brought her to the city and they trained her and all this sort of stuff, and she's, a bit brighter than the rest, she came up out of it. So her evolutionary background, I think, would have it where I don't know if that would even be possible. due to the damage of just centuries of that crap. But I don't know, it's a magic gas, so once you're no longer breathing it, hey, you get smart. So other than that, it's just the basic play of a ruling class that abuses the underclass, and we see the story all the time, and so it plays out in this one, and they do all right. Some of the new effects that they put on, of course, looks a little better. Sometimes the new effects kind of takes away from the show. It's a little overdone. And this one, it's all right. Although the original effect of just, it's just this, even the new one, it's still this city in the clouds. Well, it doesn't look all that big. It just looks like an apartment complex or something. So, but some of the scenes they have when they're in there, it works out. It's all a studio shot and everything. Which I'm always forgiving of, because, hey, it's an alien world. Have you ever been on one? No, you haven't. So what do you know? And all that. So it plays out all right. There's a few asides here where the ruler, what was his name? The bearded guy. Was it Phases or no? Placis? Yeah, I think it was Plaxis, something like that. Anyway, his daughter is a cute little blonde, and she's got the hots for Spock, and Spock seems to feel the same way. And but then she displays her bigotry, and Spock's like, "Ugh, she's not as cute as I thought she was." But she's like, "Well, those people, they can't live up here with us. They're too stupid. It would be, it would be wrong to let them advance." And of course, where does she get it from? From dear old dad, who's just a total unforgiving bigot. I mean, even at the end, he's sort of forced into the situation because at one point he's plotting to kill Kirk because Kirk's interfering. Meanwhile, Kirk violates the rules by kidnapping him and forcing him into the mine to be exposed to the gas, and they all go nuts, even Kirk, and they have to beam him aboard the Enterprise to save him and all that stuff. But towards the end there, he was like threatening what they sort of cancel each other out as far as the rules with the Federation. But I'm guessing, Kirk's got to file a report on the mission and everything, so the conditions, I imagine, would be some amount of violation, because as they are a member of the Federation, so are the troglodytes and everything else, and so their rights are being violated and they're being mistreated. And of course, once the filter masks are there, and as McCoy says, it'll work, so they'll start making more demands about, and it's like, hey, our conditions suck, and they're like, oh man. And so their little comfy paradise, suddenly they're going to have some responsibilities, and all share in the daily drudgery of developing their society. So that's pretty much what you got there. So another thing is, like, at the end, the girl decides, you know what, I'm going to go down in the mines, and because now she feels bad about how things were and realizes she was wrong. But it all seems to be because of her crush on Spock. And it happens rather quickly. Although there are these, stories about people who give up their wealth to go amongst the underclass and all that sort of stuff. So I suppose that's what she's doing. But at the same time, I don't think she's going to last 5 minutes down there. It's pretty delicate. Meanwhile, Vanna, who's actually much hotter than what's her name? Was it Droxina? I think her name was. She's got it going on. Ultimately she'll probably end up challenging Placis. I think there's still going to be a civil war there. They make it all happy and stuff, but I don't know. So anyway, there it is. There's all the things that the Placis does. He tortures Vanna, and Kirk's like, hey, wait a minute, you can't do that. So one thing after another, even though he says that Kirk violated the rules by interfering with their governance, it's not the same thing as the Prime Directive in the case of a society that's not advanced. This one is, and it's already a member of the Federation. So I would think some of those rules apply, that his violations could be brought up. Even if he says, "Well, I'll tell him about what you did, Kirk," Kirk would probably own up to that and say, "Well, I'll put myself on the mercy of the Starfleet command and see what's what." But when he says, "Well, what was I supposed to do here?" These are citizens of the Federation that he's harming. So it would probably play out like that, So anyway, it's an okay episode. It's got some cool aspects, but the plot basically is something you've seen tons of times before. So I guess it's a little tiring, but anyway. And also, this is I've got to stop this plague. I need, it's the same thing with Methuselah, except it's just one guy, but still, it's like, man, a lot of plagues out there. And McCoy, you think would come up with a vaccine. I mean, you can come up with one within a matter of months. Yeah, I know. So anyway, cloud minders, not miners. Would there be a way to actually mine a cloud? I guess if there's certain elements within it, and you would be extracting it with like the transporter or something, maybe. I don't know. I guess so. But anyway, no, it's not miners. It's cloud minders. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness, so many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.